She walked out of the darkness first. In a small village at the edge of a vast and ancient forest, there lived a girl named Liora. The village was a quiet place where people worked hard and kept to themselves. But beyond the village the forest stood, deep, endless, and full of whispers. No one dared to enter it, for the stories said that those who walked into its shadows never returned. The darkness of the trees was too thick, too alive, and the villagers feared it. Liora, however, was different. From the time she was a child, she had always felt something calling to her from beyond the trees. While others avoided even looking at the forest, she would stand at its edge, listening. The wind carried voices, soft, distant, but real. The elders warned her to stay away, saying the forest was a place of lost things, of hunger and sorrow. But Liora could not shake the feeling that there was something more. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the shadows stretched long across the village, Liora made her decision. She packed a small bag, some bread, a flask of water, and a lantern, and walked toward the forest. The villagers watched in silence. Some called out to her, begging her to turn back. Others whispered that she was a fool, that the darkness would swallow her whole. But Liora did not stop. With one last look at the only home she had ever known, she stepped into the trees. The moment she crossed the threshold, the world changed. The air was colder, the sounds muffled. The lantern in her hand cast only a small circle of light, barely enough to see a few steps ahead. Behind her, the path back to the village seemed to vanish, swallowed by the shifting shadows. She was alone. For hours she walked. The forest was endless, the trees pressing in around her. Strange noises echoed, rustling leaves, distant laughter. The sound of footsteps that did not belong to her. Once she thought she saw eyes glowing in the dark, watching her. But whenever she turned, they were gone. Just as her legs began to ache and doubt crept into her thoughts, she saw it, a faint light in the distance. Not the cold, flickering glow of her lantern, but something warm and steady. She moved toward it, her heart pounding. The trees thinned, and soon she stood at the edge of a clearing. In the center of the clearing stood a woman. She was tall, with silver hair that shimmered like moonlight, and she wore a cloak made of shadows. But her face was kind, and when she spoke, her voice was soft. "You walked out of the darkness first," she said. Liora did not understand. "Who are you?" she asked. The woman smiled. "I am the keeper of this place. The forest holds many things, lost souls, forgotten dreams, fears that have taken shape. Most who enter are trapped here forever, because they let the darkness consume them. But you, Liora, you kept walking. You did not let fear stop you." Liora looked around. Now that she was closer to the woman, she saw them, figures standing at the edges of the clearing, half hidden in the trees. People. People from her village, from other villages, people who had vanished long ago. They were not lost. Not really. They had simply given up. The woman placed a hand on Liora's shoulder. "You have a choice now. You can return to your village and tell them the truth, that the forest is not evil, but it tests those who enter. Or you can stay here, safe in the light of this clearing, and never face the darkness again." Liora thought of her village, of the people who had spent their lives in fear. She thought of the voices she had heard, the ones that had called her here. She knew what she had to do. "I will go back," she said. The woman nodded, pleased. "Then take this with you." She handed Liora a small silver bell. "When you return, ring it once. The path will open for you, and tell your people what you have seen." With the bell in her hand, Liora turned and walked back into the trees. This time, the forest did not feel so heavy. The shadows still moved, but they no longer frightened her. When she reached the edge of the trees, she saw her village ahead, just as she had left it. She rang the bell. A clear, bright sound echoed through the air, and the villagers stopped what they were doing, turning toward the forest. When they saw Liora step out of the trees alive and unharmed, they gasped. For the first time in generations, someone had returned. Liora told them everything, about the clearing, the woman, the lost souls who had given up. She told them that the forest was not their enemy, but a place of testing. Some believed her, others did not. But from that day on, things changed. One by one, others began to approach the forest. Some entered, though not all returned. But those who did came back stronger, wiser. And slowly, the village learned to live without fear. Years later, when Liora was old and gray, the children of the village would ask her about that night. "How did you do it?" they would say. "How did you walk out of the darkness first?" And she would smile, remembering the silver-haired woman, and say, "I kept walking. That's all you ever have to do." The end.